The perfect Star Trek Voyager movie story already happened 25 years ago. When fans dream of a Star Trek Voyager movie, imaginations often drift toward the epic possibilities that could follow the series finale, Endgame. What happens when Voyager returns home? How does Seven of Nine adjust to life on Earth? Do Janeway and Chakotay finally explore their bond? But what many fans overlook is this. The perfect Voyager movie story already happened, and it aired 25 years ago. That story is Year of Hell, a two-part saga from Voyager's fourth season. Year of Hell is as cinematic, emotionally charged, and narratively ambitious as any feature film in the Star Trek franchise. Its scope rivals The Wrath of Khan, its psychological depth mirrors The Undiscovered Country, and its philosophical questions rival First Contact. Year of Hell didn't need a big screen adaptation, it was the big screen story, hiding in plain sight. A cinematic war story in the Delta Quadrant. Let's set the stage. In Year of Hell, the crew of the USS Voyager faces a nightmarish scenario, a relentless temporal war with the Krenim, whose leader, Anorax, uses time as a weapon to reshape history and reclaim his lost people. Unlike typical Voyager encounters, this isn't a skirmish of the week. This is a year-long odyssey through destruction, loss, and moral compromise. From the moment Voyager is struck by the Krenim's time weapon, the tone changes. Hull plating is ripped apart. Systems fail. Characters die. The premise alone is rich with cinematic promise. What happens when the Federation's ideals are pushed to their breaking point? What does a Starfleet captain do when there's no starbase, no backup, no end in sight? This isn't Star Trek's polished, utopian future. This is Star Trek at war. Janeway at her most heroic. Captain Catherine Janeway is a figure of unwavering principle. But in Year of Hell, those principles are tested like never before. She's not simply guiding her crew home, she's keeping them alive day by day through attrition, sacrifice, and despair. By the second part of the two-parter, Voyager is unrecognizable. The bridge is in ruins. Entire decks are gone. Crew members are dead. And Janeway herself is physically and emotionally scarred. But through it all, she never stops fighting. If the Voyager series was about a woman stranded 70,000 light-years from home, then Year of Hell is her crucible, the moment where her resolve becomes legend. The best Star Trek movies center around powerful captains facing impossible choices. Kirk faced mortality in The Wrath of Khan. Picard battled his past in First Contact. And here, Janeway sacrifices everything, including herself, to reset a broken timeline and undo a war that never should have happened. If that's not cinematic, nothing is. The tragedy of Anorax. Every great movie needs a great villain, and Year of Hell delivers one of the most complex antagonists in Star Trek history. Anorax, played with stoic melancholy by Kurtwood Smith, isn't a power-mad conqueror or mustache-twirling tyrant. He's a grieving scientist who weaponized time in a desperate bid to bring back his lost wife and people. His calculations are meticulous, his plans nearly flawless, and yet every temporal adjustment he makes ripples outward with unintended consequences. His mission, noble in intent, becomes a trap he cannot escape. What makes Anorax such a compelling figure is how the script humanizes him. He's not unlike Janeway, driven by loyalty, love, and the desire to undo an irreversible mistake. But where Janeway accepts the weight of command, Anorax hides behind numbers and simulations, unable to confront the emotional reality of loss. A Voyager movie centered on this conflict, two leaders trying to rewrite time for different reasons, would have been a masterpiece. And it already was. Visual storytelling ahead of its time. Though made for television in 1997, Year of Hell boasts visuals and production design that rivaled many sci-fi films of the era. Voyager's gradual deterioration is depicted with chilling realism. Each battle leaves fresh scars, exposed circuits, twisted metal, dimmed corridors. This isn't the episodic reset button aesthetic typical of the series. This is sustained, escalating damage. It's the Empire Strikes Back in the Star Trek universe. Director Mike Voyager imbues each scene with urgency. Close quarters combat, Tense standoffs. Emotional exchanges under fire. Scenes aboard Anorax timeship are bathed in sterile cold light, emphasizing the scientific detachment from the destruction being wrought. Juxtaposed against Voyager's warm, if crumbling, interiors, the contrast adds dramatic depth. For a two-part TV episode, Year of Hell punched far above its weight class. Its visuals, pacing, and tone all felt like they were aiming for the big screen and hitting the mark. The moral complexity of time. One of the best things science fiction can do, and what Star Trek does best, is explore ethical dilemmas with futuristic metaphors. Year of Hell explores one of the most haunting questions imaginable. If you could change time to undo your personal tragedy, would you, even if others suffered because of it? Anorax's obsession with restoring his wife leads to the deaths of entire civilizations. Every time the timeline shifts, someone vanishes. Someone's history is erased. To him, it's a scientific process. To everyone else, it's genocide. Janeway faces her own time paradoxes. Should she destroy Anorax's ship and risk resetting the timeline entirely, even if it means her own death and undoing a year's worth of experiences? The answer, of course, is yes. Because her choices, though difficult, reflect Starfleet's core ideals: protect others, even at great personal cost. She doesn't flinch. A Voyager movie built on these ideas wouldn't be just action-packed. It would be thematically resonant, emotionally harrowing, and ethically profound. Character-driven stakes. A movie needs more than big ideas and explosions, it needs character arcs. Year of Hell delivered them. Tuvok goes blind, and the emotional support he receives from 7 of 9 deepens their bond. Chakotay and Paris are captured by the Krenim, and their ideological clash while working under Anorax offers new insights into their philosophies. The Doctor, always a fascinating outsider figure, wrestles with guilt and triage under extreme conditions. 7 of 9, relatively new to the crew at this point, grows in her understanding of loyalty and sacrifice. Everyone is tested. Everyone changes. And yet, because of the story's temporal reset ending, no one remembers. It's a bold narrative move that emphasizes the philosophical stakes over the physical ones. Actions matter, even if no one remembers them. Why it works better than a post-finale movie. Some fans have long clamored for a Voyager movie set after Endgame, exploring how the crew adapts to life in the Alpha Quadrant. But while that's a worthy idea, it would struggle to deliver the kinds of visual spectacle and dramatic urgency that a cinematic story demands. Year of Hell is self-contained. It doesn't require knowledge of every character arc or long-running subplot. It introduces a villain, sets the stakes, evolves the characters, and ends with a satisfying, if bittersweet, resolution. It's the kind of story that works for both longtime fans and casual viewers, just like the best Star Trek films. Moreover, its stakes are existential. The survival of entire civilizations. The erasure of history. The collapse of reality itself. What more could a movie ask for?